I have long thought that the way that you change the world for animals is by like slipping shit like this in here and there. But now that I'm seeing it here and there, is it doing anything? Welcome to the Hen Report from Our Hen House. This is Jasmin Singer.
This is Mariann Sullivan.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
It's Christmas morning, so I'm sure everyone's doing what
We're
they
not
do,
actually
which is
recording this live
waking
on Christmas
up
morning.
and listening to Our Hen House, as is most people's Christmas tradition. No, we're not recording this on Christmas, but in fact, we are recording it a little early, which we don't usually do.
We usually record the day before.
The day before, yeah. And that's because
this is a little earlier. So if something momentous happens, hopefully a good thing.
Right.
What are the chances? Between now and then, we won't talk about it.
Well, I do hope that everyone's having a good Chris Mahana Kwanzaa Solstica and a happy New Year. Just a quick reminder about our Hen House. Rising Anxieties comes out on Tuesdays.
Oh, but not next week, or not this week, not Christmas week.
Okay. The Hen Report on Thursdays. That's
and I think it's not. Is it coming out on Thursdays? Thursday? I don't know.
Yes, it is.
All right.
And
sorry,
everybody. We're really organized here. And the long form interview on Fridays and bonus for Flock members comes out on Monday. We are a podcast and we're on YouTube, so please subscribe.
Yeah, and our interview is coming out tomorrow, and it's a great interview. It's with Asher Smith. It's an animal law podcast interview with Asher Smith, who's of course the director of litigation at PETA. He's going to be talking about two cases. One is just a catch up on his case about disclosures from institutional animal care and use facilities, which is really you really want to hear that because they have been quite successful. But the other is about the Maine Lobster Festival, which is deeply horrifying. All right, enough of that on Christmas Day.
Yeah. All right, so I wanted to start today by talking a little bit about something that I've been doing for a little over a year. I might have mentioned it like a little bit here and there, but I haven't mentioned it too much on our Hen House.
No, it's one of your 8 careers.
Well, it's a big part of the pie, though. Like this is this is a very, very, very central thing to what I do. And thankfully, because of our incredible team here at our Hen House, you and Vicky and Jen, I am able to focus on other things as well, because you all keep our Hen House afloat, and you do so much wonderful research and questions, and Vicky does like all the operations and production, and Jen is really lead on our fundraising efforts. So we just have an amazing badass team, and I am involved with this incredible organization called World Shapers, which is founded by Miko Jarvanpaa, who also founded Sentient Media, though he doesn't run Sentient Media at this point. And I am a literary agent and the head of author development at World Shapers, which you can learn more about at worldshapers.com. And basically what we're doing is working with thought leaders to help every step in authoring, from ideating book ideas to plugging in.
Jasmin, ideating.
Helping people to come up with the focus. That's like, do you get like that? I hate the word utilize.
Oh God, I hate it. Like what's wrong with the word use?
Use the word use. Don't utilize the word utilize.
But it's,
all right, sorry.
Utilizing isn't even close to ideating.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't know. It's probably a popular word, and I'm just
I don't know. Whatevs.
But whatevs. It is it's very powerful work that you're doing. It's like you find people who have a book in them but have no way of getting it out, and you help them get it out.
That's one way of putting it, sure. But it's not just a book, because a lot of people have a book idea, but it's like a book with a very specific audience of stakeholders. So like, who are the people you're writing the book for? Be very, very specific. How are they stakeholders? How can they take the thoughts and ideas in the book and go and change the world for animals? Most primarily.
But there are other topics as well, right? So
it's most primarily our big topic is, animals and more specifically farmed animals. We also do environmental books, but really as it relates to animals and there are other kind of themes that float around civic engagement, things like that, but animals is the core. And it's been incredibly gratifying. And I had a very exciting thing happen that I wanted to talk about as we're closing out the year. Uh, we were able so I started agenting this year. Can I say agenting?
I was going to say something, but then I realized everybody's going to get mad at me because I'm being
Well,
too
people
critical.
do say
No,
agenting.
agenting, I think, is a word. It shouldn't be, but it
I
is.
You know what? I agree with that. It shouldn't be. And it's sort of like, but I have been acting as the literary agent for some of our clients. And I've also been helping other clients to find literary agents. And, honestly, in the last few years, I've really wanted to be an agent. I've always felt like I had a good knack for that kind of thing, and it's a good sort of next step for me with putting together the media work that I've done in the authoring, if I can say authoring.
I
But
agree that you were born to agent. I mean, that is a sweet spot for you.
thank you.
It's that relentless piece you have.
Well, I think I can spot talent too, and I think I'm also a good connector. Like I know who could be connected to whom, and I've always wanted to be a yenta. That never worked, and so why not go in this direction? Um, so so I sold a book to uh
Yay!
to Harper Collins, an imprint of Harper Collins, which is one of the big 5 publishers. It's called Harper One, and it's by this incredible activist, Max Taylor, and I'm going to read to you the publisher's marketplace announcement. Actually, would you read it?
Sure, I would love
Great.
to. AI, the name of the book is AI for Animals. AI ethics and animal advocacy researcher for animal charity evaluators and founder of AI for Animals, Max Taylor's AI for Animals, a call to action, a roadmap to ensure AI becomes a force for good in the lives of animals rather than accelerating their suffering, offering actionable insights for tech leaders, policymakers, and animal advocates to shape AI's impact on animals in homes, on farms, in labs, and in the wild before it is too late. To Angela Guzman at Harper One in a nice deal, in an exclusive submission by Jasmin Singer at World Shapers.
It's
I mean,
I
that's the style of the
Yeah,
announcement
that's
too.
the
Like we
style of
keep,
the announcement.
yeah.
Yeah. And I Publishers Marketplace is like the industry, go to. And so I feel like just so excited to have a tiny part in getting this out there. I mean, Max has worked really hard. Miko has been with this project since day one, since before I was even at World Shapers. And Angela Guzman at Harper One just really believed in this also from day one. And I just, I'm very moved right now. Like I could cry. It to see animals being recognized in this major way, and I just really
And
hope.
it's
And I'm
such an
knocking,
important topic. I mean, just
yeah,
reading that, I'm
knocking on
thinking
wood.
I need to read this book.
Yeah, me too. And let's have for sure Max come on our hen house and talk about these issues too. So I wanted to share that. And if people are interested in learning more about World Shapers, worldshapers.com is how you can do that. By the way, AI I
Yeah,
have been
I know. It's really, I was gonna say it's really ironic that you are involved in this really intense way in AI because you're pretty stupid about it.
I keep falling for it. In the last week, I have fallen for AI like 5 times. Like, I mean, from everything from finding a super cute haircut that I wanted on Instagram that it was then pointed out to me that this was not a real person to to getting
This is so sad.
emails that I was like, "How do they know so much about me? This is an interesting pitch that is clearly spam." Like all of these things, and I'm
Have you
like,
seen the ones on YouTube? Like it'll be somebody who's pretty popular, and
"Mhm,
there'll be a
yeah,
video without the name of their organization, like with a different name,
yeah,
and you'll be watching it. I mean, this has happened to me, and all of a sudden you'll think there's just something a little odd,
a
and then you
little off."
realize it's not real. I mean, and they're
Yeah,
not the ones I've seen are saying the kind of thing that that person would say. It's not that they're trying to hijack that person for in order to change their messaging. They're trying to hijack the person to get clicks,
Mhm. Mhm.
to make money off of YouTube.
It's really scary. I mean, I like
It is, but don't you feel like we're being forced to figure it out? I mean, this is the moment where
yeah.
we're all realizing, "Oh, I'm not good at this and I'm missing things and I have to," and I think people will become just much more savvy about it.
Savvy,
It
and
is
I
a
think a
problem
lot of
also that these AI centers that they're data centers that they're building all over the country are sucking up all of the electricity. I have a fully electric home and my electricity rates have gone up insanely, but I guess that's another issue.
well, and the water too. I mean, it is, yeah, it's there's a lot of problems, but I agree. Like we're in the early stages, and so
Yeah,
what one can
it's
hope.
not clear it's going to be all the things they think it's going to be because
Mhm.
people are becoming more suspicious about it. And the moment it gets something wrong, it's just infuriating.
I know. Well, some more on that as it shakes out. So I listen, this year, okay, something embarrassing happened last year. Last year around this time, I was talking to my literary agent, and I said I had read a lot of books this year. This is 2024, and she said, what were your top?" And Marianne, I could not remember one
Oh, I can
book.
never remember what I've read. I mean,
And
even when I'm in the
so,
middle of reading it, I can't remember. People ask you that all the time. What are you reading? And I have to like look on my
me
phone.
too.
Oh
Me
yeah,
too.
I'm reading that.
Right, me too. But it's partly because we're taking it in digitally. Like for me, it's audiobooks, and for you, it's like Kindle. And
I don't think that's the reason. Well, it's true.
well, it's
If the
partly
book were
because if you're
sitting on my
holding, yeah,
table,
exactly.
I would be like a little bit more likely to remember it. But
So
then
okay,
as soon as I returned it to the library, I would forget it. I don't know why I
so
don't keep a list,
well, so
but I
this year
don't.
I kept a list,
Oh, that was
and
smart.
yeah, and I
I should do
wrote at
that.
I do that for 2026. It was actually really satisfying. It was like gaming it a little bit. So far I have read 65 books, but I'm about to finish
My
2 more.
God. I mean, I've probably read two,
Well, I'm audio, and
but still,
I'm
I
doing it while I'm
can't.
getting
I
dressed
have
and while I'm
trouble
driving.
with audiobooks. I
I
zone.
know. Yeah, I can focus on it. But anyway, so I am going to like kind of see what were my top books this year based on what I wrote about them. And I'm super excited about that. But the reason I wanted to mention that is because oh, and let me just say to anyone listening to this that I recommend if you're into audiobooks, the Libby app, if you're in the US. It's the library app, and
Yeah,
you
it's
can get
great.
like any
It's
audiobook.
great. I mean, I do listen to audiobooks on it, and I
Yeah.
get my Kindle books on it, but,
Mhm.
but, yeah, the audiobooks just don't work as well for me.
Unfortunately, the last book I read, I didn't get to finish in time because I got like what's called a skip in line version. And it's when you're on hold and then like a book becomes available for a few days. And they were like, "Do you want
Oh,
this for a few days?"
that's
And
ridiculous.
I always say yes, but I said yes to this book and then I didn't finish it and they like took it away. But I'm gonna go buy it now. I didn't finish it, but I wanted to talk about it briefly because it was the book is Ocean Vuong's The Emperor of Gladness. And, again, I'm halfway through it, but I wanted to mention it because I'm just listening to this because it got so many great, reviews, and it's so popular, and Ocean Vuong is so famous, and I like hadn't ever read anything uh
I have to
by
say, you mentioned that you wanted to talk about a book, and I was very impressed when you were reading Ocean Vuong, because frequently you're reading, like, kind of ditzy
trash.
books, not all the
Yeah,
time.
no,
You
totally.
like a
But
variety.
I like a variety. I really do like a variety. I mean, I just read, The Tortoise Tale by Kendra Coulter,
Oh,
which
well,
I've
that's a
talked
great
about. I
book, yeah.
loved. Yeah, and then I read like trashy, like lesbian rom-coms.
Nothing wrong with
Because
that.
I like the template. I like
And
to
they're a
know
safe
that
space, sometimes you just need a safe
exactly.
space.
Right, exactly. But so this one came up for whatever reason. Right now I'm reading, this is a slight departure from what I was talking about, but right now I started a book called Obsessive Intrusive Magical Thinking, and it's by Marianne Eloise. And I it is clarifying so much of my OCD. Like I have OCD. I don't talk about it very much, but
I have a touch of OCD myself.
I I uh I well, whatever. That's a whole other conversation. But the way that she's talking about OCD and especially the like violent intrusive thoughts, which is sort of interesting when you're an animal rights activist to have that because we have them anyway, right? Like we have the violent, intrusive thoughts of animals.
Speaking of intrusive thoughts, where are we in this conversation?
Sorry, back to Ocean Vuong's The Emperor of Gladness. There's an animal rights theme that has emerged in it. Now, I
You
did not
say this
expect
all the
this.
time, whether
I
you're reading one of
know.
your lesbian rom-coms
Hmm.
or something serious, something that you didn't pick up because it had anything to do with animals, turns out to have a vegan character, or
Exactly.
yeah, I think there's something going on.
I do too. So I wanted to tell you, and this is, I was like doing some research into like why is there, what are the animal rights themes here, and like some websites have said that there's an animal rights theme, and I'm reading right now from some of what I read online, but through stark parallels between industrial animal cruelty, specifically at a slaughterhouse, and the exploitation of human bodies under capitalism, showing how both are used, discarded, and dehumanized for profit, highlighting the shared suffering of vulnerable beings, human and animal, within a brutal system. And the novel connects the violence inflicted on animals like pigs with human-like features, more on that in a moment, to the very low-wage workers' bodies and how they're worn down, presenting a broader critique of
That's
systemic
what this book
violence.
is about. Why,
Well,
like,
it's a theme within it. Now
it's
here's what I wanted to
crazy.
mention.
I
You
mean,
and I
how do we not know that? I mean, that's huge. And B, nice way to spend Christmas week.
I know. I should queue
We
up
were
a
going to try to be
rom-com.
a little light today,
I'm gonna queue up a rom. Listen, I got we talked about it last week. I got the Hallmark Channel, so I have
Right,
my dumb shit to look
right.
forward to too. But so what I wanted to say is, like, you and I have mentioned many times throughout the years that it's very frustrating when animals are brought into any media as a placeholder for human suffering, as opposed to just sort of like being their own entity, like
Or
of
that
the
it's
animals.
interpreted like that by a
Right.
reviewer, and there's no
Yeah.
reason to think that the author wasn't actually writing about animals. You see that all the time with reviews of
All the
Wicked,
time.
if they even mention the animals at
If
all.
they mention it. If they mention it.
They're a
Uh
metaphor. The animals are always a metaphor.
Right, exactly. And that's like how people seem to take it in for sure. And I'm only, as I mentioned, halfway through this book, so I don't know like how the author meant it yet, but it is graphic. And I won't go into the graphic stuff now, so don't feel like you have to fast forward. But it is like, you know, the pigs are running away from
All
their
right, you're
demise.
going into the graphic stuff.
Okay, no, that's it. That's the only graphic. All I'm saying is that this was a hugely popular book, and there's a lot in it about, like, I bet the people who pay for their organic meat don't realize that this is what they're paying for. I mean, it's really amazing. It's really incredible. And yet, Marianne, let me ask you something. I have long said, and like either I've thought or I've convinced myself that I thought that the way that you change the world for animals is by like slipping shit like this in here and there. But now that I'm seeing it here and there, is it doing anything? Like
I
our
mean, my feeling about all theories of change is that, well, I mean, there might be ones that are bad, but I don't think this is one that is bad. But they are all just pieces of the puzzle. A, different things work for different people. But more than that, this is a very complex, deep social behavior with a lot of different pieces. And so you need a lot of things going on at the same time in order to create change. So I
Mhm.
think it is doing something. It's just not doing it all. And we're always looking, I think animal rights advocates are always looking for the one thing that will do it all. I mean, I've been having this conversation with somebody about cultivated meat
Mm.
who's just convinced that cultivated meat is the answer. We just have to get the price down. And basically the theory of, the Good Food Institute. And I think cultivated meat is a hugely important piece of the puzzle. I really do. But I don't think it's the whole ball game. I mean, I just think so and all of this is just fine. I mean, as long as something is not like actually doing harm. And I know some people feel that, some approaches actually are doing harm. But if it isn't that, I think we have to view them all as you know, eh, different people will put them together in different ways. And
Mhm.
and it's going to take a lot and a complicated assortment of messaging. And then all of a sudden, everybody will go vegan.
Yeah, I like that. I was just interviewed by a podcast called The Animal Liberation Hour, and we're actually going to have them on our hen house too, because it's part of an organization that's doing some really, really impressive work to change the world for animals. But when I was interviewed, I was asked some questions that we ask others, and we'll share this when it comes out. It hasn't come out yet. But one of the questions I was asked was about my theory of change. And I was like, oh my God, like people never throw that back at me, but okay. And then another question I was asked was about why people eat animals, which, you ask everyone.
I
And
ask everyone that. I do tend to preface it with saying, I know you can't answer this question. I'm just interested in
mhm.
your thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'll have to listen to that interview when it comes out to hear the full answer. But the basic bottom line I said is that like people don't want to be different. I mean, that to me is the
I
bottom
think
line.
that's
Like,
a huge thing.
yeah, and
But it's
and
not
I'm
just that they don't want to be different. It's that they don't want to be seen. And this actually segues into something else I wanted to talk about.
yeah,
They don't want to be seen as criticizing other
right.
people. And the thing I wanted to talk about, I don't know if you listen to the Bulwark. This has nothing to do with animals. I don't think they've ever talked about animals. It's just a pod like a news network kind of on YouTube and
Mhm.
podcasts and Substack and whatever. Um, about the political scene. And Tim Miller is one of the main hosts. And he just said something. He wasn't talking about animals, but it so struck me as this is what it's like to be vegan. And he was making the point that we, there's a lot of criticism going on about the elites, which is, extremely deserved. And what's happening to this country is because of the elite class. And but he also pointing out that it doesn't let the rest of us are not just happily like doing all the right things and not participating in stuff at all. It isn't just the elites. It's
Mhm.
like we have to rethink the moral stances that we're taking and just the moral atmosphere of the country. Anyway, I took this quote out. I had to write this down because it was on YouTube, so you're welcome. Um, we are unwilling to be the person that says, no, this is too far. I am not going to go along with this. It is hard to be that person. It's hard to be the scold, to be the one that says that this actually goes against our moral values, even though it's going to bring me money, opportunity, or make me feel good. I'm going to say no anyway. It's hard to be the one in the group that says, I don't want to go along with this type of troublemaking. That is exactly what it is like to be vegan, and people think that you are being a scold. They think that you're one of those people who just like to, to
Mhm.
pick at somebody else and tell them what they're doing wrong. And there are people like that, but very few of us are like that. Most of us are just like all of the humans. We would like people to like us, and we know that when we do this, people don't like us, and so it's hard. It's really hard. And of course,
Yeah.
that's not what he was talking about at all, and he doesn't see that at all. But I think it's exactly the same. It's just being the scold, and we end up being the scold if you just even as you always say, if you even just like don't just pass the plate that has the meat on it at dinner and don't take any, people act like you're criticizing them, which
100%.
kind of in a way
Yeah.
you
I mean,
kind
they're
of
not
are,
wrong. Yeah,
right?
exactly, exactly. Yeah, that's a really good quote, and it definitely gets at exactly what I was saying too. And we also don't want to. We are, at least many women and girls, of people pleasing society,
It's
and
like I think that like we're a social species. So I think
mhm,
I mean, some men and boys could maybe step up their people pleasing a little bit. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But when it comes when you're being pleasing conflicts with fundamental moral values and your behavior towards innocent creatures, then you have to stop being pleasing.
mhm. Yeah, and
And it's hard.
that's something that puts a lot of people off of, like,
Yeah.
wanting to take that vegan step. And then, like, the another thing that I can empathize with, I don't have, like, direct experience with this, but I think a lot of people who have human families, as opposed to the 7 animals that, like, I have. But, maybe let's just say in the most stereotypical heteronormative situation, a woman who's married to a man and has 2 children under 18, and the woman wants to go vegan. Well, it's going to be harder for her because she is taking, presumably a caretaker in some capacity for her family. And and
Well, of
that's
course,
hard.
it depends a little bit on the
A
woman.
100%. I'm generalizing, but, like, these are the part of the reasons, I think, why a lot of people struggle with it, and
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
in a family situation, it's a million times harder.
Yeah, a million times harder, a million times. Uh, okay, well, let's switch gears. I read this article, and it's funny because that's usually you saying this, but this time I was reading this article, and it's about a subject that I find fascinating, and like in a sort of car crash, you can't look away kind of way, which is pet cloning,
I find it
cloning.
absolutely infuriating.
Oh, yeah, so do
Absolutely.
I'm sure everyone listening to this does too. I find it infuriating, but I'm, like, very fascinated by the discourse around it, by the discussion around it, to use a less annoying word, since that's one of the themes of our hen house today. And the New York Post did a story about this woman who spent $50,000 cloning her
I
dog.
spent
And
$50,000 cloning my dead dog. Here's what it's like having a
well,
duplicated pup.
okay, that's the editor's headline, just to be clear. But and it worked because I clicked on it, and and they also made the point that it used to be only rich and famous people like Barbara Streisand who famously cloned her dog. But now, I mean, $50,000, I couldn't afford that. I'm sure most people couldn't. However, there are a lot of people who could, who aren't necessarily Barbara
Yes,
Streisand rich.
now it's a $50,000
Yeah,
proposition. And I
instead of
always
like
heard in the past
millions.
too that there can be a lot of, animals that don't come out right. And this article doesn't go into that at all. So that's
Well,
another ethical
well,
issue.
true, but it does go into one person that cloned her dogs and wound up with 3 clones and now
Right, because
has 3
sometimes more
clones.
of them take. So she
Yeah.
now has 3 dogs who
So,
look
yeah,
very much alike. Just
and
like
who
all
started
purebred dogs look very much
she
alike.
started an Instagram for them too, and I actually, like, I didn't, like, follow her because I
No,
was too grossed
please.
out, but I did look around at it and the. But anyway, so
They do.
this
I
one
also mentioned
woman,
that one of them came all the way from California to upstate New York to get this
ruh-roh.
dog. It's probably down the street from me.
But this article, which is in the New York Post, of all places,
Yeah,
had a
yeah.
lot of really thoughtful, like, inroads of discussion, I think, including the morality of it.
It did
And
go there, though it also had a lot of stupid stuff in it.
and I will say that the when I saw this article on my feed, I noticed that, like, I looked at the comments first, and the comments were almost all like, "Well, there are animals in shelters that need you to
Yeah,
rescue them."
yeah.
And
Those are
and
people.
spoiler
We're on the
alert,
job.
the woman who this is about kind of also said it too.
They both
The
did.
Yeah, the woman who this is about basically said, I realize now that there are animals at shelters, and I think you should consider that first." By the way, I'm looking at the
But the
article now,
point she
and
was
you
making,
said you
sorry.
said upstate New York, but it's more specific. The emotional meeting between her and her new bred dog took place at Frederick Douglass Rochester International
Oh
Airport.
my God! It is down the street from me. Oh my God!
Yeah, but go ahead.
But
So, yeah.
I mean, I want to add something because I haven't said my full piece here because she says that she wouldn't necessarily do it again because when she made this decision she was in the depths of grief. I mean, she pretty much says she wouldn't do it again, but they both say that maybe they wouldn't do it again, but they're really happy that they did it because they love their dog. And of course they love their dog. I mean, these are their dogs now, and of course they love them. So that's not a way to make a decision. But it did really make me think about, I mean, I can, like, it shows how weird people are when they think about animals. I mean, would you think that about a human? Like, if they clone them, that it would be the same person? Do people really think that? Um, I mean, just because somebody is, I mean, identical twins are genetically identical, but they're frequently very different people. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all to me.
Okay, I
But
need
the
to
other
I
thing is the
yeah, go ahead.
grief. The
Yeah.
grief. This is the part that I understand. I think it's just so important for us to remember how much we love them and why that is so important and why this is I mean, she made this decision at a point where she was in our unbearable grief. And now I'm going to go somewhere even further. I have been thinking of late that, and I've probably said this before because I never have any new thoughts, but one of the things that makes it us like willing to go there and to think about animals and to go vegan and to do all this stuff is maybe that we don't feel things as deeply as some other people. Maybe people, this is a human characteristic. Human emotion is so overwhelming that people just build up defenses against it rather than accepting it. And maybe we're colder. Those people. I think sometimes I shouldn't say who it is, but a person in my life who is always, she's one of those people who's like, don't tell me, don't tell me, don't tell me. But she always has been. And I think she doesn't want you to tell her because she can't bear it. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to let people off the hook here. Uh, but I do think that grief is just hideously, hideously painful. And it's probably more painful for some people than it is for others. I don't
And I
know.
think I
That's a
think
little all
that
over the place.
well, I think that there's also no, you know, th there's no guidebook for how to walk through grief. I mean, every time someone goes through grief, they feel like it's the most solitary experience.
Right.
'Cause in a way it is.
And you don't
And
really remember it. Like you remember that it was bad, but you can't remember exactly what it was like because
that's a
it
really good
fades, thank
point.
God. I mean, it may not
Yeah,
go
well,
away,
it
but it
it
fades.
becomes part I was just saying to someone who I was talking to who lo a young person who lost his first dog that he had as a young adult, and I was telling him because he was just expressing the grief and how hard it was, and I was saying to him, the grief kind of gets woven into the fabric of your life, and
Yeah.
I find a lot of comfort in that because to me, that
Yeah.
makes me feel like
You don't
I
forget
have
the
them
person or the
or
dog,
yeah,
but yeah,
they're with
you
you.
incorporate it.
But,
But I think another thing is that even though there has been much more attention paid to it, if you're talking about your first dog and you are not prepared for how bad it's going to be.
yeah.
Because you just think it's just your dog. And even though if you really love your dog, you're still not. I think because when you lose an animal, I mean, I'm not saying it's worse than when you lose a person. Obviously, I'm not saying that. But dogs are embedded in your life in ways that other people. I mean, unless it's maybe a child, are not. Like they're just there all the time, and they are like literally part of your life. Whereas other
Mhm.
people have their own lives, and you may connect with them, you may love them desperately, but it's not quite the same. It's not worse. It's just different.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so the woman who was the main focus of this article, she did say that she made this decision in a place of deep grief and that she doesn't she doesn't regret it, but, it is a hard thing to say now that you
How
love
could you
the
regret it when you
animal.
have this little
Right.
dog?
Yeah, exactly. But, but she said she wishes she had not made the decision from a place of grief, and I thought that this article was interesting because I hate it. I mean, like, I'm infuriated by the idea of this. I think it's disgusting. You were saying when we were chatting about this before that it's always looked at from the perspective of the human and not from the perspective of the animal, and I thought that that was a really good point. But as I'm reading this, I'm like, "Oh, this is awful. I'm so mad. Why would someone do this?" And then I thought, "I could have cloned Birdie." I mean, for
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
millisecond of a millisecond. And
yeah.
then
Grief is a bitch.
I thought that that would be really, really sad because I would miss, like, the real Birdie,
It would be
like
ridiculous. Like it wouldn't be Birdie, so it wouldn't fill that, and it might interfere with the way you remember her,
yeah,
and it would be confusing, and you would feel guilty about it, presumably, unless you were a monster, and it wouldn't be her. You would be just pretending,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like maybe even if it made you feel better, Birdie's still dead.
right. Exactly. Alright, so I just wanna make a parallel to something we talked about at the beginning and something I spoke about a couple weeks ago. For those who are watching Pluribus, which is on, I think it's on Apple TV. I was talking about the vegan parallels and like the fact that these people who kind of like almost all of humanity develops one consciousness, but there are like 11 people who are outliers who for whatever reason don't. And I
Are
was
they all
talking about
vegan? Are they
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, more. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but like they have a vegan ethos, we'll say, and
the ones who are
the
not
one
in the
consciousness. No, the like the human race that
seems like the
becomes
real
one
world is exactly
consciousness.
the opposite of that. Like
Yes.
the whole human race is
However,
not vegan, and then the few who maintain their own like ability to think through
there
things
there
and be a real person are vegan.
there is a big flaw in this, by the way, and this is a tiny bit of a spoiler. So if you're watching it, like fast forward
Put your
this
fingers in your
podcast like
ears.
1 minute, because I will only mention this briefly. The like the one consciousness group basically feels that humanity, them, will be wiped off the earth within 7 years because of starvation. So they start eating cadavers of humans. And Moore
Ew,
and I are like, or you could grow
gross.
plants and eat that,
Right,
okay?
right.
But
Learn to
like so
forage.
right, so that's a or cultivated meat. I mean, like there's so many because they're all experts because they all have combined intelligence. So everyone knows how to do everything.
That does seem like it wouldn't be your first choice of how to manage the
Yeah, right,
situation.
right. But the reason I wanted to mention it in this context wasn't that, but that like the 11 people or however many it is, 7, 11, I don't remember, who are for whatever reason did not develop this shared consciousness. A few of them have taken their quote unquote family, like the bodies that they inhabited who are still alive but aren't the same person. They now have the shared consciousness and just carried on living. And the main actress who's playing the protagonist in this is like, this is not your child. This is not your son. Like this is like a stand-in for your son. And then no, he is my son. And then the main person was like, okay, tell me about the last time you did a gynecological surgery. What, and like asks a question, and then the boy replies because he has like the shared consciousness of a gynecological surgeon, for example. And I guess my point is it's
It's
exactly the
exactly
same
the same.
thing.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same. You should really watch Pluribus. It's creepy and it's like a bit of a, I don't know,
And
you
people
might,
kind of just really don't care
they kind of don't care.
whether it's the other person or other
Yes.
dog,
Yes,
as
yes,
long as they can pretend it is.
1 billion%. Wow. This is so much more aligned than I even realized. So yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, on that note, this has been a lovely Christmas. Ho ho ho. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you a ho. Ho ho.
I so saw that coming.
Did you? I have
Yeah.
to work on my humor.
You need a new joke.
All right. Well, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in today on your Christmas morning. And thank you
That
so
is
much
when
for being
everybody's
part.
listening, right? You
Of
know,
course.
before they open their presents under the tree.
They're gathered around with their whole family, like the Aunt Ida. They're all there. Uncle Tom in his cabin. um, This is a very big fundraising time for our hen house. We still have about a week left to go. We are trying to raise the vast majority of the funds that we use for the whole year. And from now until the end of the year, every dollar that you donate becomes 3. We have a triple match going on. So go to ourhenhouse.org/support to get on the fundraising bandwagon if you like, believe in, and can support Our Hen House. And if you can't, we are happy you're here anyway, and you are part of our family too. And we'll talk to you next time.